brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live from Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Kamel, joined by #1 best-selling author and all-around good guy, Dr. John Delony. Taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Jump in, we'll talk about your life, your money, and try to help you take the right next step. Jason's going to kick us off in Cincinnati. Jason, how can we help?
Yeah, so my mother was advised by a lawyer to stop paying some of her debts. My adult sister moved in with her about 3 years ago, and they've kind of accumulated since then a decent amount of debt, and a lot of it is in my mother's name. And the lawyer told her just to stop making payments on it and just let it go.
Why was she working with a lawyer?
I don't necessarily know that she was working with a lawyer. I think she just called the lawyer to ask for advice, and the lawyer
no lawyer would do
stop
that.
Making payments.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I felt.
That didn't pass my smell test. Yeah,
you guys.
I would question who she got in contact with and what their actual credentials are, but this sounds like a debt relief company. That's the only people who would tell you, "Hey, stop paying on your debt. Give me the payment instead, and we'll resolve this on the back end when you tank your financial life, and we'll try to settle it." Was that the intention, you think?
No, I don't think so, because they didn't follow it up with anything like that. I mean, like, that's why I told her, I said, Mom, it just sounds to me like they just didn't want the business, and just was a quick way for them to get off the call, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they won't give you
they
won't give you legal advice to just get off the phone like that. Like they've got a fiduciary interest, a licensed attorney, to do what's best for you, and that's why they're not just going to rip off like, yeah, quit paying it, we'll talk to you later. They're just not going to do that, because it may put your mom in a situation like she's in now, which is pretty dire.
Yeah.
How bad is the debt?
I would say probably all in all it's about $30,000.
Okay.
And then what is your sister's involvement in all of this?
So she was recently divorced, kind of really left in not such a great place, and she's had several different jobs, some that were high paying, some that were not. She's in one right now that's not very high paying. She's making probably about $16-18 an hour, and it just kind of keeps them afloat with my mom's Social Security, and my mom also has a small pension from when she was employed earlier in her life.
Okay, and then what's your involvement in all of this? Why are you calling today?
More just out of concern for them. I didn't know if I didn't know if just not paying the debt, was could come back on my sister since she lives with her, or any of it, because that's what my mom's under the impression that she just stops paying it when she dies, it all goes away. And it was kind of, I don't know, it didn't sit right with me, because I listen to you guys all the time on my way home from work, and I don't know, it didn't sound like sound advice to me.
I would agree. Ignoring your debt and saying, well, I'll just die with it. That's a terrible financial plan. And I can't speak to all of the ramifications of, if it's an unsecured debt, they might write it off when you send a death certificate. If it's a secured debt, it's going to get paid from the estate. So any assets she has will be used to pay it off. And so I'm not sure how all that's going to shake down. Is your mother in good health? Is she able to work?
She's in decent health. She, and when she retired, she was working from home. So I don't necessarily know. I don't think she's opposed to that, and I think she's actually looking into it. But I think she's in her mid-70s, so she's kind of like. I don't think she wants to have to go back to work, but I think that's just kind of where she's at right now, to where she's just trying to figure out what she has to do.
Was she unable to pay all of her bills, including her minimum debt payments?
So, I mean, like when she was on her own, no, she had no problems. I mean, now that she has my adult sister living with her and they make $16 an hour, and she's, they probably don't live on the tightest of budgets. No, they don't.
But why did your sister moving in add all of these extra expenses to where now your mom can't stay afloat?
That's a great question. I think it's their living habits, really. It's eating out quite a bit. It's DoorDash being delivered to the house, and I think they are trying to clean a lot of that up. But I think now it's more so.
I've not once tried to clean up a mess and said, you know what, let's just DoorDash tonight. We've worked hard.
Yeah.
So I think you're the concerned brother watching your family drown, and you want to give them a life
100%.
raft, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You can give them all the solutions. I don't think they want to hear it from you, do they? Have you tried to talk to them?
I have. Yeah, I've had more so my mom, because my sister doesn't want to. It's not always easy to talk.
Not a
to
great
my sister
relationship?
about it, but yeah, it's not stellar. Yeah.
And how much debt does your sister have? Do you know?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I know she has student loans and a loan against a trust that my family left for us. So
Oh man.
I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but I know it's got to be close to 100,000.
Yikes.
And that's a guess. That's a complete guess, to be honest with you.
And do you know your mother's
I don't
income?
know. I want to say my mom brings about maybe $1,500 a month from her pension and Social Security
Combined?
roughly. I think, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no way they're even
Yeah,
staying in this house. Is the house paid for? Are they renting?
The house is paid for by my family, who left it in a trust to them. The only thing that they have to pay for the house is $400 a month for the HOA fees.
I'm not sure they can even afford that.
don't-
Plus
No.
insurance and taxes
They're struggling.
and eating
They are struggling to. Correct.
and
Yeah,
car
they're
insurance
struggling
and
to pay that
gas.
as well.
I mean, I don't see a way out unless we increase the income. And I don't know. I don't know how mom's going to survive with or without your sister living there. It's clearly not helping to have your sister there. But even if your sister left, I don't see a world where mom pays off $30,000 in debt, making $1,500 a month, barely making it.
Yes.
Will they listen to you?
Yeah, that's what
If you went and sat down with them and said, "Hey, I want to get an honest, true, what is reality picture financially? I want y'all to both pull your credit reports." Will they hear you on that? Are they drowning enough to where they're willing to accept help, or are you just concerned and they don't really care what you have to say?
I mean, I think they would listen to me. My only concern is that with my mom getting this advice from this lawyer, I think that she's just kind of like, she sees that as easy street. Like, oh, nice, that's the solution. Just stop paying it.
Yeah, I don't know who
hard.
gave her that. If a licensed attorney answered the phone and just said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm not going to take your case, but just pay all your, just quit paying," and went on. Or if she's got a friend who's a licensed attorney, like at her church, who said, "Oh yeah, just quit paying," that person should lose their license.
Yeah.
If she sat down and hired a
wouldn't
lawyer who
disagree
went
with
through everything and found some reason why she didn't have to pay, that's another story, but that doesn't sound like the case here.
No. Yeah, that's definitely not the case.
Have collectors started coming after her?
Didn't hire. Not that I'm aware of, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't. I mean,
It's probably
I think
coming
it would be
soon.
pretty soon.
Probably followed
Yeah,
by
exactly.
lawsuits.
Yeah.
She's not just going to bury her head in the sand and have this go away. So there's going to be some hard conversations, some major lifestyle changes. Everyone's going to have to get to work, and I don't want you to enable it. It doesn't sound like you're trying to do that. You're not trying to just fund their life, but there's going to have to be a conversation about what the next year looks like, 5 years, 10 years. Otherwise, you're going to be left with a mess and have to just wash your hands of it and go, you guys do what you want to do.
You
I
get
love
to sell
you.
this house and
This
pay
house
off all
has got
these
to get
debts.
sold. Or find somewhere to rent. Sister's got to go make some real money. Mom might have to work part-time. Man, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. It's a series and pattern of terrible financial decisions over a long period of time. That's a hard knot to undo, my friend. This is The Ramsey Show.
Statistics show that half of Americans don't have enough life insurance, or they don't have any at all. I don't understand this, John. Why don't people want to take care of their family? They think they're going to die or something?
Well, I used to be one of those guys, I didn't even think about it. And one of my buddies said, "Hey, the only reason to not have life insurance is if you hate your wife and kids." And I immediately went and got term life insurance.
That's a gut punch.
And you're telling me, and for decades, Dave, I've sat across people who've lost a spouse. They've lost somebody important to them.
Me
and
too.
They don't know what to do next.
Me
right?
too. I mean,
It's
you're going to
terrifying.
have a crisis here. And, you know, you got two options while you're sitting and talking to a young widow. She's concerned about how she's going to invest all this money properly and not mess this up, or she's concerned how she's going to eat tomorrow.
That's exactly
These are the
right.
two options.
And
take care of
term-
your dadgum family, man.
Term life insurance can replace income, pay off debts, cover funeral expenses, so your family can actually have the opportunity to just be sad.
Yeah.
To just miss you.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's saying I love you to your family. Term life insurance. Jeff Zander and the team at Zander Insurance makes it easy and affordable. I've used them personally for 25 years. They're the only people I trust. Go to Zander.com or call 800-356-4282.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. Kelly's up next in Salt Lake City. Kelly, welcome to The Ramsey Show. How can John and I help?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. My husband and I started a business here just the end of last year, and we were making pretty good money, but it's not quite enough to make ends meet. And at this point, we've put pretty much everything we have into it, and it has the potential, but we're just trying to figure out some more ways to bring money into the business to try to increase that to make ends meet.
What kind of business?
It's an indoor baseball training facility.
Okay, and how you said you've sunk everything into it. What does that mean?
Pretty much. We started completely debt-free. We pulled an SBA loan, ended up being about $325. We had a very large chunk of money in the bank when we started. Part of that was going towards our security deposit. The other we kept was about $40,000 in the bank. Now we're to the point where we have about $30,000 in credit card debts. We've used my husband's 401k, and our entire savings is put into it as well. There were some factors that came up that we weren't really expecting for, and that money ended up going towards the business. So,
was the business ever profitable to where you weren't needing to go into debt for it?
Well, we're not really behind yet on the business. I mean, the money that we spent on credit cards and stuff was actually to get the business open and started. We've brought in about $52,000 since we opened December, like mid-December. So it's making money, but I mean, our lease payment's $30,000 a month, so we're not making enough.
Yeah, you're not making money.
Dang.
What your lease payment is $30,000?
Yeah.
What is your
3,000 square feet?
What's your debt overhead? What have y'all taken out?
We don't really have. I mean, the business essentially runs itself, and we don't have hardly any overhead. Like our utility bill is about the highest we pay.
Well, your debt payments are your biggest.
No, what's
overhead.
your debt payment?
You said $325 on an SBA loan.
Mm-hmm. We actually haven't started. They gave us a 6-month draw period, so we haven't actually started paying that payment yet. We've been paying the interest on it, which has been about $2,500. The last one I seen come in, give or take. I'm expecting those to increase now, obviously, since we have used the funds from the loan. So that draw period closes, and then we should start seeing the first payment come through.
But you don't know what the payment's going to be?
No, well, we do and we don't, because when we talk to them, basically they told us it's been a rough go with them, but basically they told us we have a 6-month drop period. We only pay interest until then. Obviously, the interest will increase every month as we're spending more, utilizing those funds from the bank.
So is this like a line of credit from the bank up to $325?
No, it was an actual
a lump sum
loan. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else? You said you maxed your credit cards out. How bad is that?
About $30,000. We had, 2 of those are personal cards, and one is a business card, but all of it went towards the business. We started with nothing on those cards.
And when did you start this business?
December the 10th.
We're talking a few months ago.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so far it's making, $15K a month?
Last month, I believe we brought in about $18,000 a month, prior about $16,000, and our first month was a bigger month coming in.
But your lease is $30,000.
Correct.
So you're bleeding money every month.
Correct. And we're waiting on our realtor actually, hopefully today, to give us some information on having a tenant come into part of that space to sublease it out, which we're hoping will help.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get 50%, right?
You need this thing to be making $75,000 to $100,000 a month.
$100,000.
Well, we're not actually paying ourselves out from the business, and we don't really have any overhead. So if we can make,
that's the scary part. How are you guys living?
Yeah, how do you eat?
Well.
So you're working for free while going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt.
Yeah, so we were both working right up until we opened the business. I am currently in an IOP OCD treatment program, so I have a couple more weeks of that before I can go back to work. My husband is, I think he's doing interviews today actually to take on remote work from our business while he does that at the same time. We need to be making we can make ends meet and actually profit on about $45,000 a month.
There's no way.
We don't have, because we don't have any.
What about your insurance? You have to be insured in case a kid gets hit by a ball or turns his ankle and sues you for the whole thing.
Yeah,
What's your insurance?
Our insurance is about $2,000 a month, I believe. We had to have general, and then we had to have workers' comp as well, even though we don't actually have any employees. But
okay, so are you never going to take a vacation?
At this point, no. That was the goal, but yeah, at this point, our intentions were to pay ourselves out, obviously, from the business, and that didn't work out. And so we've kind of burned through savings up to this point, both being there all day, every day, trying to make that successful. And it's to the point now that we're going to have to go back to work and do both at the same time.
Have you sat down? If you haven't, please, anytime somebody's in this level of stress, whether it's in their marriage, with a new business, there has to be a moment in this chaos when everybody exhales and you and your husband get a whiteboard and you write down on that whiteboard every single person you owe. And then you also on that whiteboard write down every single dollar it costs to run this thing every month. Because right now y'all are robbing Peter to pay Paul. You got money coming in one way. Some of this is borrowed. You got a credit card over here. It just feels like it's everywhere. I don't think, I don't know if you can't see me and George. I don't think you understand how bad this is.
Yeah, we're pretty scared, and we don't. It's kind of hard because there's certain bills that we know are coming that we don't know what they are because we haven't seen them yet. Like our utility bill, we're estimating probably about $5,000, but we haven't actually seen it yet because our building is a split space, so the other side doesn't have a tenant yet. So the landlord didn't actually even split the utilities until not even 30 days ago. So we don't even know.
I think you need to talk to the landlord and explain what's going on. And see how quickly you can get out of this lease, because it's going to continue to bleed money for the foreseeable future.
How are you're talking about getting 100% more business? How do you expect to go about doing that? Do you even have enough little league and high school and college players to utilize your facility?
We do actually. Yeah, it's kind of a huge market for it here. And when we started the business, there was nothing. There was nothing within 30 minutes of us. And we've had a lot of people coming in, at least, for weather permitting, obviously that changes things, but I guess with the potential that I've seen it, I feel like there's a way to do it. There's got to be another way I can bring some more money into it. I'm just kind of stumped as to how.
But let me tell you this. You have to get to a point where your feelings are very important, but you have to get to a point where you're trafficking only in math.
Right.
Because if you should know how many Little League teams are actually fielded in a 30-minute radius of your house. If you haven't already, you should be knocking on the coaches' doors of the middle school teams, the high school teams, the junior college teams, university teams, giving them special deals, going 24/7. If you're not knocking on every single door of every coach over and over and giving them coupons, and that's the only way you can survive. And if you haven't done that, then maybe you've got a shot. But the fact that you don't know, you guys are just like, no, it's a big market. Like, man, you need to know how many Little League players are in your area, right?
Yeah, when we did our projections for the business, in order to qualify for the SBA loan, we had to have an entire, I had to have stacks of paperwork detailing exactly what's in our area, exactly how many kids, exactly how many teams. I don't have it sitting in front of me right now, but we do have all that detailed out. My husband's been coaching for years, so he actually has a lot of personal relationships with high schools, the leagues, everything. So he's reaching out to all those people as well.
Okay, but here's the thing. If he is, there may become a moment that y'all realize you're over your head and it's not going to work. My hope here is that there's 100% more people that y'all haven't reached out to yet.
Right.
Then you've got a shot.
If there's not, what what does that look like as far as exiting a business that's not profitable?
You need to sell all the assets you can on the equipment, get out of the lease with as little damage as possible, and then go get full-time jobs, both making six figures, and clean up the debt of the failed business.
Yeah, and maybe reach out to softball teams too, and see if softball, like if there's an equally large softball market in your area too. Maybe that's a chance. But yeah, otherwise you're selling assets and you're just going to go beg to the owner of this building. Hopefully your lease isn't a 5-year lease or something. But yeah, this is in a really gnarly way. We all need to sit down with a whiteboard and be very honest about how much you owe.
There's a time in your life and the baby steps for renting, but you don't want to do it forever because when you rent, you're still paying for a mortgage, just somebody else's. Plus, rent means instability in your budget because it always goes up, never down. So when you're ready to buy, make sure you work with a mortgage partner you can rely on. Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is Ramsey trusted to help you make the move from renting to home ownership wisely. Churchill understands that when you buy a home the Ramsey way, your mortgage payment will be a consistent, manageable part of your monthly budget. Plus, when your home is paid off, that was your largest expense. Now it's extra money in your pocket and an asset towards turning you into a baby steps millionaire. Get started on the American dream of home ownership today at churchillmortgage.com. That's churchillmortgage.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony, and we have a special guest for this segment on the debt-free stage. We have Jawanda. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks for coming to celebrate with us for a debt-free scream.
My pleasure.
Where are you from?
Really excited to be here from Philadelphia.
Where you were born and raised? Can we say that? Where the playground you spent most of your days?
You could say.
Yes!
She hates you now, but you can say it, John.
That's fantastic.
I love it. Okay, how much debt did you pay off?
$86,613.
Woo! Wow. And how long did that take?
About 48 months.
Wow. And what was your range of income during that time?
Started around 70 up to about 84.
Awesome. And what do you do for work?
I'm a construction manager. I work for a general contractor and
Awesome.
Just help with our teams there, and we build multifamily projects.
Very cool. And what was this $86,000 in debt?
So $14,000 was a car loan, $4,000 was unemployment repayment, which was interesting and unexpected. Another unexpected thing was $4,000 of local taxes, like city taxes, that wasn't coming out of my checks, and I had to pay it
like
back.
Some back taxes.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. And $63,000, about $64,000 was student loans.
Woo.
Tell me about this repaying unemployment. I've never heard that.
So in 2020, I wasn't working like most people when I filed for unemployment, and I didn't think that I applied, but a few people encouraged me to file, and I did, and they said, hey, we'll send you this much money every month. And then about 16 months later, they sent me an email and said, hey, all that money we gave you, you actually weren't eligible for it. We need you to pay it back.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yep, very unexpected, but fortunately, I didn't take a lot, and I got it paid off pretty quickly.
Wow. And what were the student loans about? What was the degree?
So I got a bachelor's in urban planning and a master's in construction management.
Awesome. And you're putting it to good use now.
I am.
Woo. Okay, so 48 months ago, you look down and you're like, okay, I owe a car lender some money. I owe the government a bunch of money. I got the student loan over here. What made you get on this Ramsey plan and go, I'm going to clean this up fast?
So I actually took Financial Peace University when I started grad school in 2013.
Wow.
And I got rid of all of my credit cards, closed those out, and was like, okay, the college loans, when I graduate, I'll deal with them then. So I started off well, but I got distracted, just trying to do other things or trying to figure out another way to get out of debt. And then 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? It's just going to take the time that it takes, and I just decided to get after it. I got an accountability partner or a Ramsey, I believe, financial coach.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've been meeting ever since then, twice a month, and it's been really helpful to have someone to talk through financial decisions with.
Wow. And so you just made a decision. There was no like rock bottom thing that happened. You just decided, I'm done with this. What am I doing? I worked too hard to be this broke.
Okay, hold on. I'm fascinated by something. One of the hardest things like when it comes to diet, nutrition, money, school, all that, is to look in the mirror and say, what I'm doing is not working. Right? Will you talk somebody through who's listening, who's literally living in this moment? They've got a plan here and they're moving this over here and they're trying. Like, how did you make that turn? Because that if America as a whole and as individuals could get that moment, what we're doing is not working.
Right. We
got to do something else. Tell people how you came to that conclusion.
Well, I was really trying to do entrepreneurial things because I was like, well, if I had a side hustle, I could do this a lot faster. And the side hustles just weren't panning out. And I was like, you know what? I need to start saving for retirement. And I want to do that sometime in the near future. So I kind of cut my losses and said, I guess it's just going to be the income that I have, and just kind of got after it and was chipping away at it. And in the past year, just got really aggressive and was like, I'm done.
I don't say this lightly. You are a modern American hero.
Thank you.
Seriously, because you're not married, just by yourself?
Yep.
And so you had to look. You didn't even know anyone to blame inside your own house, right? You had to look in the mirror and say, "This is me. I'm going to make a turn right now." And then you did an even braver thing. I haven't been able to pull this off. I'm going to call a coach, right? And people often say like, well, I don't want to pay a coach when I'm in debt. But you hired a coach. They've been walking with you, and it's clearly paid off for you.
Yep.
And you've just kept going. What lit your fire a year ago that you said, all right, I'm hitting the gas even harder?
I think, so I'm really adventurous and I love to travel. So I think it was just putting off travel, putting off driving past restaurants. But really, I think it's just been like wanting to save for retirement, wanting to buy a house and those things, and just feeling like I'm in delay. Like I've been so delayed, and was just ready to be done and get that part of behind me and stop paying interest and start earning interest.
Wow. That takes a lot of emotional maturity to put down the instant gratification and go, you know what? I'm going to make some sacrifices now so I can have the best later on. And the future's looking bright for Jawanda. I'll tell you that much right now. What was the hardest part of the journey for you over those 4 years?
I think just feeling like I'm in delay, like that I'm so far behind. And I just wish that I knew when I was in college how much of an impact those college loans would have on me.
Was it a lot of regret and guilt and even some shame?
I don't know if I would say that. Maybe just disappointment for not paying more attention. It's like, you're smarter than this. Like, you're a smart person.
You're just kind of beating yourself up a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, here you are now. I mean, you got a lot of life ahead of you. 4 years of sacrifice. Was it worth it?
It was so worth it.
How do you describe the feeling to someone who is where you were? They're sitting with a big pile of debt, and now you're debt-free. How would you say this is what it's going to feel like if you're willing to make that sacrifice?
I would say it feels like opportunities, exponentially more opportunities have opened up to you, and that you just have some emotional peace that like you can't really put into words until you get here. And it just feels like there's so many opportunities that I can take advantage of, and that's really exciting.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
38. And so you've got the back 2/3 of your life. We're gonna think positively here. The back 2/3 of your life. What are you gonna do now that you don't owe anybody anything?
So I'm almost done with baby step 3. I'm going to start saving for a house, and plan to be a part of that 30% of people that don't get a mortgage. Because I'm a construction manager, I think I can do that. I think I'm savvy enough to make it happen, and just going to save like it depends on me and pray like it depends on God.
Wow. Sometimes people are on the debt-free stage and they actually paid their debt off a while ago. Have you had a month or two or a few months where your paycheck deposits and it only goes into wherever you want it to go?
Yeah, I actually set up for my direct deposit to be some for just living, and everything else is going to my high yield savings account just for baby step 3. So I've had about maybe 1.5 months since.
Tell somebody what it feels like when that check deposits.
Oh, it's exciting.
And
It's even better that it's automated. Like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to accidentally not touch it. It just goes to my high yield savings account, and I look at it and I'm just like,
You're building for your future
You're
instead of
so
some
awesome.
lenders.
Yeah.
You're done
It's
paying for
pretty
the
cool.
past.
Congratulations,
I'm so proud of you.
man. It's amazing.
We've got a parting gift for you. We got 2 every dollar 1-year subscriptions for you. You can use that. You can pass it on to someone else who maybe encouraged you, maybe doubted you. Give it to the haters and say, hey, this is for you. Check this out. So we're so proud of you. We're happy to celebrate with you. Let's get to the moment we've all been waiting for. It's Jawanda from Philadelphia, $86,613 and not a penny less. Car loan, unemployment, back taxes, city back taxes, the student loans, it's all gone in 48 months, making $70,000 to $84,000. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free!
Yeah! See, that one came from your soul.
That was cathartic.
From her chest, man. I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness. If that doesn't light you up, doesn't put a little fire in your belly, you're not living. Check your pulse, man. Jawanda's an inspiration. This is The Ramsey Show.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession. Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. George Kamel here with Dr. John Delony. The number to call is 888-825-5225. John, I don't like to hit the news very often, but there's one thing that applies to people's personal finances, if I can connect some dots for you.
Just one thing?
You
There's
ready?
like
Just one. One little
There's
thing.
like 1,000 things impacting
So
people's
much we could
personal
talk about.
finances.
But this is the one. Trump's IRS layoffs have some people asking, why bother filing taxes this year? So a couple of weeks ago, the Trump administration, they started to lay off almost 7,000 IRS employees. Commerce Secretary told the media that Trump's goal is to, quote, abolish the IRS. This has a lot of people confused whether they should hold off on filing. Like, is this a government shutdown? We're like, we're good. We don't have to file. Yay. Some people are taking this as an opportunity to just ignore it and not file. So whether you agree with, believe, or put stock into anything politicians say, it takes a long time for anything big to happen in the government. So layoffs do not mean a shutdown. The IRS is still very much alive and well, ready to make sure you file your return. So if the IRS were being closed, Trump would let us know. You still need to file like usual, and the earlier, the better. In fact, John and I were just talking about how we got ours done. We like to get ours done as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yeah.
So that we know.
Yeah.
I just want to know, am I going to owe? Am I going to get a refund? Let me not let it live in my head rent-free until April 15th.
Exactly. And listen, we have to say this as clear as day. You have to file your taxes this year. Despite what all the rhetoric, despite what, like, oh, no, you don't understand. You have to file taxes or you'll be in violation of the law, period.
Yep.
Pay your taxes.
Now, here's what could happen. The layoffs will likely slow down refund processing times, support phone lines, and the longer you wait, the worse it could get if you do need help down the line. So tax collectors are still on the job. They're not going to stop just because of the layoffs. And the IRS penalty for you not paying your taxes is 0.5% of your tax bill every single month. The failure to file penalty is 5% of your tax bill per month, and it spikes to 25% after 5 months.
It compounds
That's
interest on you.
That is a yikes.
Pay your taxes, people. So I don't like it. George doesn't like it.
No, none of us like it.
But also, it's what we have to do. And so we pay our taxes and we move on with our life. Right?
That's it. And you won't go to jail for not paying your tax bill all at once, but you could go to jail for not filing at all. So that's the key: is you got to file, regardless of if you can pay it all up front or not. You can work on a payment plan, you can get that extended, but you got to file by April 15th. So if you're holding off on filing because you may not be able to afford your tax bill, you have options. File as soon as possible, even if you can't pay. Pay as much as you can over the next month. If paying is going to take longer than a month, you can set up that payment plan and then make adjustments like you were doing the debt snowball to cut everything in your budget so you don't have this problem again. And we tell people IRS debt goes to the very top of the debt snowball. It's the first thing you pay because they can destroy your life.
And let me say this one more time. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. And this isn't just us preaching at you. George and I have already done our family's taxes. We've already submitted them. So it's not just like a fun little game we're playing. People on the internet are like, don't pay your taxes. Those people are paying their taxes, y'all.
100%.
Everybody's paying their taxes. Just get over it. Let's get it done and move on with your life.
And we can help you make it easy. If you have a simple tax situation, you haven't had any major life changes, big investments, check out Ramsey Smart Tax. This is tax software that Dave and the Ramsey team approves of. We've partnered with TaxSlayer on this. It's powered by TaxSlayer. They've been in the business for 50 years. This is 100% accurate tax software, saves you up to 80% compared to the other guys. So get started, RamseySolutions.com/smarttax, and get it out of your life. Stop letting it live in your head rent free.
Hey, can I say this? I wanted to know, so before I even submitted them, I ran mine through Ramsey Smart Tax. It almost nailed it. It was amazing how good this product was, to the point that it made me reconsider next year, like if I might just do it again on my own.
Do I need a pro? Because I was able to do it on my own.
I used to use Ramsey Smart Tax, and then things got more complicated, and it even dealt with my complication. My wife has a small business. We went right through it, and dude, it was
if it can handle the chaos of John Delony's life, you're going to be fine, guys. That's right. You're going to be fine.
But it's very impressive in how simple it makes everything.
Yeah, love it.
Very good.
RamseySolutions.com/smarttax. All right, let's go to Renee in Akron, Ohio. What's going on, Renee?
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm currently on baby steps 4 through 6. You might tell me to go back to 3 after this. But I feel like after 20 years, God's leading me to leave corporate America and go into vocational ministry. My heart's been there for years, and now that I'm debt-free, I don't, there's not really anything holding me back other than my goal of like making it to baby step 7. Like, is that me being selfish? Is that me being smart? And I was just interested in your insight.
Sure. So you have a mortgage right now?
Yes, it's about $559 a month, so I'm debt free except for my house.
Wow, $559! What a steal!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Okay, $500?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most people's car payments are higher than that.
Way to go on that mortgage, man. Half of America
you made some good decisions.
Sneezed while they were driving down the road listening to
Well, everyone's mad at you right now. You've lost all empathy with the people listening. Like, oh, forget this lady.
You should look at rent. You should look at rent prices in Akron, Ohio.
Do you have a job on the table right now that you're weighing, or is this philosophical for you?
It's more philosophical. I'm like 2 years sober, and so just lately I've really been more passionate about helping like teens with their recovery, you know, and making a lifestyle like vocational decision that's not going to give me the income I have now.
Do you have George will get into the numbers here, but let me ask you a few questions. Do you have the training to be like a teenage addiction counselor?
Not like, I'm not psychology, no.
Okay.
I don't have a psychology
What
degree.
would keep you from keeping your job and also running meetings in the morning or running meetings in the evening? You'd be tired, of course, but what would keep you from doing that? And the reason I'm pressing on you is some of the greatest, what I would call vocational ministers, have full-time jobs. Even Paul made tents, right? And so people always say, think in George and I hear this all the time, I need to quit everything to go be a musician. I need to quit everything to go be a comedian. I need to quit everything to go be a minister. And I always want to hold off and say, could you begin to work your way into this and see, is this the life I want to live? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's not. I mean,
Okay.
I'm a CR leader now.
What are you making with your corporate job?
95,
Oh, and how much do you have in savings?
11,000.
And what are your monthly bills to cover all your expenses?
I think about 3,000 when I include like my insurance and stuff that comes out of my paycheck.
Okay. So a 6-month emergency fund, let's call it 20,000 to round up, to be conservative.
Okay.
That's what you would be looking at for a 6-month emergency fund. And you could take your income down and still survive. But again, you have other goals. I want you to retire with dignity when you want to and not work because you have to. I want you to be able to pay off that house one day. And so cutting your income down to like a ministry income of $30,000, I don't like that plan. I'm with John on that I would keep your full-time job or take another job full-time that still offers flexibility for you to do this vocational ministry part-time.
And I think that's a great question. Are you running towards a life of full-time Celebrate Recovery where you're working with people and you're sitting side by side with them in a psychology standpoint or a ministry standpoint? Or, let's just be honest, do you hate your corporate job? Because those are two different things.
I don't hate, intellectually, I do not hate my corporate job.
Okay.
My heart, corporate, ethics is a little bit of a, not like I work at a shady place, because I don't, but
It's tough.
there's kind of like that. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just not where,
I got you. What George and I both know is one of the chief stressors in somebody's life is financial stress. And for somebody who's 2 years sober, I would hate to say, yep, let's take a $60,000 pay cut or a $50,000 pay cut with $10,000 in the bank, because George and I both know, man, that kind of stress just leans on you in a tough way. I would love to see you, no pun intended, baby step your way into increasing your role in CR, increasing your role in AA meetings, increasing your role volunteering in local organizations, and begin to see, is this the life I want to live long term?
Love it. Hey, Renee, we're going to send you a copy of our friend Ken Coleman's book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. It has a Get Clear career assessment in there. I think that's going to really help you create some clarity around this next chapter of your life. But we're excited for you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live from Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Kamel, joined by the host of the Dr. John Delony Show, Dr. John Delony. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jason is going to kick us off this hour in Columbus, Ohio. What's going on, Jason?
Hi, George, Dr. John. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you both.
You as well. What's going on?
So basically, I, over the last month or so, have been kind of undergoing a bunch of anxiety and stress regarding my debt and everything. And after meeting with multiple people, they're all saying I should file for bankruptcy, but I'm not sure if I should.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, usually multiple people are wrong. What's going on?
I mean, it's a combination of things, just starting back from a few years ago. And the debts have just been piling up. The minimum payment's been piling up, and I feel like I can't breathe, and I can hardly sleep at night sometimes because it just.
So step one, and I've been there, brother. I've been there. Where your body, you feel like you're being betrayed by your own body, right? Like it's just, you're anxious all the time. The first path through is like no holds barred, choose reality. So be very specific. How much do you owe and to who?
Combined, it all is about closer to 60,000, counting my truck and the credit cards, the personal loans, everything.
Okay.
35 of it is the truck. And then the rest is a mix of credit cards, personal loans, and lines of credit.
Okay, I can tell you right now, no, bankruptcy is not your solution here, okay? Put that off the table, take that out of your head, okay? And let that give you some peace. Now, how much money do you make?
Gross last year, I made 65.
Okay.
The good news is you can sell that truck. You might be a little underwater on it. Do you know how much it's worth if you sold it private party?
I don't through KBD. I haven't looked.
That's going to be part of your homework. You got to figure out exactly what it's worth if you sold it for top dollar, and you owe 35. So there may be a gap. Let's say it's only worth 30. You would need to come up with the extra $5,000, either through saving it up or going to your local credit union and getting a loan for the difference, and then getting enough to get a little beater car on top of that. Is this your only vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the good news. Think about that. I could free you today by selling that car down to $25,000 total in debt. Can you breathe a little bit easier now?
A little bit.
And now we go, okay, what's a plan to pay off 25 grand? Well, easy math says if I was able to throw $2 grand a month of this debt, it would be gone in a year, right?
Yeah.
And how much do you make every month? What's your take-home pay?
So I work on base salary or base hourly and commission, so it varies, but typical month is usually between $3,500 and $4,000.
Great. So let's say $4,000. Are you doing any investing right now at all? Is there a company 401k? No. Is there a match or anything you're doing?
The company does offer a 401k with a 100% match, but I'm not contributing.
Okay. So you make $4K. Now we look at, okay, what are your monthly expenses? What does it take for you to live? We're not eating out. We're not doing anything exciting. No frivolous spending here. But how much do you need to live? Pay rent, bills, food, all of that.
Probably at the most $2,000.
Jason, do you see what we just unlocked?
Done.
I just told you if you put $2,000 a month toward your debt, you're debt free in a year, and you said you make $4, your expenses are $2. That looks oddly like $2,000 left over to throw at the debt, doesn't it?
They wouldn't even finish the bankruptcy paperwork in that time.
They wouldn't even let you file. They'd say, dude, this isn't even a problem. You're going to be done with this debt in a year. And so then you do the debt snowball method where you pay off the smallest balance first. So what is the smallest balance you currently owe?
Smallest one is $5,000.
Okay. So 2.5 months, you're done with that first debt. Now we're down to $20,000, and we free up that payment. What's the payment on that $5,000 debt?
I believe it's close to $300 minimum.
So now you freed up another $300 to throw at your next smallest debt. Do you see the momentum that gets built with the debt snowball?
Yeah, I do.
So I just showed you the math. And again, there's two parts to this. There's all of the emotion. There's a psychological aspect that John can talk to you about. But I just showed you on paper how easy this is to fix. While all your other friends said, dude, it's too bad. You just got to file bankruptcy, man. That's America. What can you do? And I just showed Jason how to take control of his life with the guy in the mirror.
Tell me about this job.
It's a sales job, working in retail. A lot of customer-facing interaction and stress on a daily basis.
So, I don't want to be over dramatic here, but your whole cadence, your whole tone changes when you talk about your job. And I wonder if you're just not in the right job.
I wonder the same thing. It's just my concern has always been the money, in that, like, trying to stay afloat.
I got you.
Because in the ideal world, like, when when during COVID, I actually had went to school to be a software engineer. And then when I graduated, the tech market crashed. And nobody was hiring. I couldn't get a job anywhere.
Okay, but what did you learn to do when you were coding? You learned to solve problems. You learned to work independently. You learned to go through very fine details, and you learned to talk to knuckleheads like me who are these big artist dreamers who are like, I just want it to like feel like this. And you're like, okay. And you took a bunch of hieroglyphic looking things in Ruby on Rails and you made it like, dude, you're literally limitless with that degree. Not just because from coding or software engineering, but because you know how to take a project from start to finish. And somehow, some way, your body is telling you that you're not safe, and sometimes that's because we're in the wrong place. And I would love to see you, bro. Right now, I would love to see you make $30,000 a year throwing boxes half the day, and make $30,000 a year working at Starbucks the other half the day, and make that same $60,000. And you're on your feet and you're running around, but you're not having to meet sales quotas and stuff like that. That's keeping you up at night while you then look for a job that might be a product manager that might be able to see some of these projects from start to finish. That job is hot as could be right now. You're an engineer. Maybe not in software. Maybe AI can do that now. Okay, cool. Where am I going to take that engineering skill set and go make somebody else's life, some customer's life, some business's life better? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
There's an underlying anxiousness. Your body doesn't believe that you're safe. But when it comes to the money part, brother, it's a year of obnoxious hard work, not asking your friends to come over and bring whatever peanut butter and jelly sandwiches they got, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever weird stuff you're into, and we're going to do this for a year, and then we're going to call it. And then I'm going to be all paid up. I'm not going to have a $35,000 truck that sits in my driveway losing money every second and makes me not able to breathe. It's not going to do it. I'm going to have a used Camry that's going to get me from A to B. But here's the deal, man. We believe in you. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, for free. It's going to be my gift to you. I'm also going to send you Financial Peace University. I want you to watch the videos, and it's going to give you peace because it's going to give you an actual plan. Okay, brother? Hang on the line here. We'll get you hooked up.
Bankruptcy is not in your future, my friend.
Absolutely not.
Only financial freedom and debt freedom.
Stop listening to other people, man.
Hey, you guys, health insurance costs are only moving one way, and that way isn't down. And if higher costs aren't enough, the wait times to see your doctor are longer, and it's harder than ever to get anything approved through the bureaucracy. So, if you feel like the system is working against you, try a biblically based alternative to health insurance, Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. CHM has also helped them stay true to their values and avoid miles of red tape. And CHM support goes far beyond meeting financial needs. They also help meet spiritual needs. Members become part of a family who will pray with them and for them when they experience a medical event. So listen, y'all, there's a better way to take care of healthcare costs. CHM programs start as low as $98 a month. So learn more today and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Hey, if you're not sure if you're on track with the baby steps, take a quick quiz that can help you check your progress, and you'll get a personalized plan just for you. Simply head to the show notes of this episode, click on the link that's titled, Are You on Track with the Baby Steps? And complete the quiz. Molly's up next in Macon, Georgia. Welcome to the Ramsey Show, Molly. How can I help?
Thank you for taking my call. I I have a question about giving. The Lord recently blessed us with an inheritance, and it's stock, and we don't need it to live on, so we are able to just invest it and give it. And it was a big surprise, and I've never had this happen before, so I'm wondering, okay, first of all, in being a good steward of this and thinking about giving it, do we tithe the stock? Do we just invest it and then what we earn off of it, we give out of that? I'm not sure how to do that.
You're such a sweet, wonderful person. I'm glad that you were the one gifted with this money. Can I ask where it came from?
My father passed away recently.
Oh, my goodness. And this was part of your inheritance. Was there anything else?
No, because everything went to my mother, but he left this to me.
Wow.
And my parents taught us to live within your means, save, and they taught us that we should invest. They didn't teach us how to invest, so I'm working with somebody to help me know how to do this. And so I need some advice, just because I want to be a very good steward of this gift. And so as I was thinking through that, I wanted to have many advisors who could, with many advisors, our plans will succeed. I want to know, should I go ahead and just give 10% of that stock away, or is it better to just invest it, and then as I don't even know how to how it would come back to me.
Yeah.
I know that I've been investing.
You're right. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to do this, and truthfully, this is going to be up to the matter of the heart. And so I don't want you to feel like there's the right way, and if I don't do it this way, I'm not being wise. The fact you're even asking this question tells me that you're already a generous person.
Can we let's pull that apart real quick, Molly? I'm going to talk to George, but I'm going to do it on your behalf. Okay.
Okay.
George is smarter than me in some of this stuff. So, George, I'm thinking you could sell the stock and take $850,000 in cash, minus whatever the...
Yeah, I assume you're going to have capital gains taxes on this,
correct.
Molly, right?
Well, as my accountant and my financial advisor said, that it's only going to be, I would only have capital gains on the amount between the date of transfer to me.
Perfect.
And,
step up.
And because when I received it, I thought, oh no, all my eggs are in one basket. Dave would say, don't do that. My accountant said, don't do that. My personal...
Yes, you can sell it all the day of transfer and essentially have no taxes.
So I sold 75% of it, and it's just in a money market fund right now, waiting for me to figure it out. And the other part, the 25%, I kept in case I was going to give stock, like transfer stock, because they had said, several people have said to me, you don't want to sell it and give what you give off of the earnings of that or what you sold. You want to give the stock, transfer the stock. But
I mean, you'd just be putting somebody else in that same situation, like some church or educational institution or wherever you sold it.
Yeah,
would have to convert it.
I think that's overcomplicating it. What I would do, Molly, if I was in your shoes and I was gifted this money, I would just go, okay, I'm going to tithe off my first fruits. And so the income that I actually take home, I'm going to tithe off of that. And so if the stock is growing and you're not actually selling it and making money from wherever it's invested, that's not going to count as income that year. You see what I'm saying? But whenever you do sell it, I would take 10% of whatever that is and tithe that.
Okay. So at this point, I sold $646,000 worth, and that's what's in the money market.
Yes.
And then the other stock, so you're saying tithe off of that, and then...
Well, is that going to count as income for you this year?
Only $12,000 is counted as income.
Okay. And so that's what I'm talking about here, is there's basically an asset here that was invested. It hasn't really turned into income for you. You're just basically converting it into a different asset.
Okay.
And so what I would do if I was in your shoes is just tithe 10% of your income. You can also be more generous than that. It's up to you. You could give all of this to charity today. But if you're just saying, hey, what's the right way to tithe out of this from a biblical perspective, the way we see it at Ramsey is it's first fruits. It's based on what you actually took home, the gross or net. Dave always makes jokes about that. That's really a matter of the heart. If you made $100,000 gross this year, you can tithe $10,000 to your local church and even give above and beyond that to whatever organizations or causes you so choose.
Or after taxes, if you feel like tithing the $80,000 you actually brought home and you pay $8,000, everybody's going to be different there.
Okay, because at this point, nothing is in my bank account.
Exactly, right. And that's what we're saying.
It's all at the brokerage firm. Nothing has come to me. I have got nothing. It's all sitting at the brokerage.
But so if it was me, and again, take this with a grain of salt, right? If it was me, I would cash out that $850 and take $85,000 and tithe it to my church. And then my wife and I would decide, do we want to do something else with it? Do we want to help a kid go to college? Do we want to whatever? And do we want to give to my daughter's little school or whatever we want to do with it? And then the rest of it I would put into some sort of retirement vehicle.
Yeah, if you just invested this money, and I'll just give you a quick example, $750,000, you never add another dollar to that. You just let it grow. How old are you, Molly?
55.
55. Let's say even for the next 10 years, you just park that money in a good growth stock mutual fund or even in a taxable brokerage account in an index fund, and it made, let's say, 9% on average over those 10 years. It would turn into $1.77 million. So 750 gained another million without you doing anything. So that's the power of compound growth at this level and this scale. And so you can really create some sizable wealth to do even more good in your community and in the world with that money. And it sounds like you're going to do that. And so I love that you're thinking about, how do I manage this well? Do you trust the financial advisor you're working with?
I do.
Good. They're helping explain all of this to you. They're educating you. They've got the heart of a teacher.
Yes, he spends an awful lot of time, and he says that I ask him questions nobody's asked.
I love that.
And he explains things to me.
You got to challenge him. Yeah, make him think outside the box. That's how I would look at it, Molly. And again, I don't think there's a wrong way to do this. The way I look at it is whatever income I took in that year, if I want to tithe the 10% off of that, that's what I'm doing. But you don't need to look at it as one giant pile and I've got to do this today. You can invest it, and based on what you actually convert to income, tithe off of that. Or you can do what John said and just go, you know what, I'm just going to take $85K off the top of this, and that's all. I'm going to tithe off of that, and the rest is going to be investments.
And then next year, if I made an additional $10,000, I would take that on top of my salary that I made for that year, and my wife and I would tithe 10% off top of that.
Okay.
And that way, for me in my house, it would be in perpetuity, right? It would continue to be a blessing further and further.
Yeah, you wouldn't even touch the principal of that money. It's all going to just be growth at that point, which is incredible. And you said you don't need this money. It sounds like you're doing really well financially yourself.
Well, I mean, we have no debt. We're paying cash for my son's college, and we have a 6-month, and I'm getting my own pension.
Amazing.
From retirement, and I have a little other in my 403B, so no.
So can I tell you something, Molly?
What?
What was your dad's name?
Rick.
He's real proud of you.
Thank you.
If I passed on, I left my daughter $850,000, and these were the questions she was asking, I would know that I raised her right and that she's going to be a good steward of this money. You're doing a good job.
And guess what? I can tell you're going to do the same for your kid, and I hope they do the same for their kid, and that's generational wealth. A good man or woman leaves an inheritance to his children's children. You're an inspiration, Molly. Thank you so much for the call and trusting us with this. This is The Ramsey Show.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right, so I was born and raised in Texas, and I love the myth of the lone cowboy. You know, the guy who doesn't need anyone or anything. It's a fun story, and it's a lie. In our self-obsessed society, we're obsessed about our own diets, our own workout routines, our own jobs, our own social media feeds, everything. It's easy to forget that no one can do life alone. And I don't care if you're an introvert, an extrovert, or whatever you want to call yourself, we all have to have a community and a support system to do life with. It's time to shift the focus from doing it all by ourselves to knowing that we can only be well and whole when we ask for help. Therapy can be a great source of help and support for any area of your life. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy, so it can fit with your schedule. To get started, just fill out a short online survey to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. This month, start to build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Ramsey Radio to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Ramsey Radio.
I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. This is The Ramsey Show. Our Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by YRefi. With YRefi, you can take control of your defaulted private student loans with a plan that works with your monthly budget. Visit YRefi.com/Ramsey to learn more. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
All right, today's question comes from Paige in Ohio, and I just love this question. My husband and I are new listeners and began the baby steps late last year. I'm struggling to cope with the shame and guilt that I feel over our financial mess. It feels insurmountable even though we are working hard and seeing progress. I cry every day, and it feels like we're never going to get there. How do I celebrate the small wins when we mark a debt off our snowball in the midst of being intense to get out of the rest of the debt? I feel like this is like a really honest question.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about it a lot here. And we tell people just like, crush it, go kill it, go, like murder it.
There's another side to that.
There's another side, which is you sitting at your kitchen table. You just drew a line through the $700 credit card. You finally got it. And your kid needs braces and your other kid needs shoes. And the next payment is $1,500. That's the next credit card. And you put $200 towards it. And you just sit there at night, the kids are asleep, your partner's in bed, and you just have your face in your hands. And what I would tell you, Paige, is crying's not a bad thing. Cry. That's okay. And if you find yourself unable to move and unable to take that next step, you need to call somebody. And if y'all have guilt because y'all hid money from each other, you just lived rambunctiously, and now you're having to tell your kids no, that's not a bad thing. And if you're ashamed of some of the things that you've bought, if y'all have a bunch of ATVs and a boat and a jet ski, but also $100,000 in student loan, like, shame's not a bad thing. It's when it becomes, as they say, toxic, when it becomes where you can't move and you can't hear anything positive or good. So here's the deal. Feel those feelings and just keep doing the next right thing. And that is where the magic is. And what's going to happen is you're going to look up in 7 months and you're going to have paid off several of these little tinier credit cards, or you're going to have plowed through one big one. And you're not even going to realize it, but you're going to find yourself standing an inch or two taller. So sometimes it takes a while for our feelings to catch up with doing the next right thing. And George, I, for one, man, cry. That's your body getting it out. Cry. It's the only time I'm concerned is when I cry and I can't do anything, or I find myself going back to old bad habits.
You're sort of frozen.
That's right. Or I start buying stuff again to try to make myself feel better, or I find myself taking another drink, or I start skipping my side hustle to watch Netflix. That's when I want you to call somebody. But it feels like we're never going to get there, yet if we're honest, we are getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there, right? So challenge those thoughts. That's the old CBT, like challenge those thoughts and see if it's true or not. And then let's just keep doing the next right move, man. But Paige, this is a common thing at the very beginning where you just look back and go, oh my gosh, how are we living, right?
Yeah.
I've been there. I'm sure you're like, I've been there. And we don't talk about it enough, but this is a very real part of it. And then you just got to go do the next right thing.
And having that deep why of like, oh, that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the middle of it, you sort of forget. Like, why am I running this? Why did I decide to run a marathon? That's the reason why. And what I found, this works for me, John. This may not, I don't know if this works in your world, but when I find that I'm getting too like emotional about something, I try to lean toward the facts and reality.
Yep.
And when I get too into the math and that becomes overwhelming, I try to lean into the emotional side of here's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so that tends to help me not be out of balance on one or the other. And so it may help to go, look at the numbers. Look how much debt we've paid off. Let's make the little chain and make it visual, and let's make the thermometer and color it in to show the progress. Because sometimes it is hard to see the forest from the trees when you're in the middle of this.
Yeah, and there is something about some sort of cheesy project, whether it's drawing the thermometer. Me and my wife hung the paper chain in our bedroom. I was like, I want that in the bedroom. I want to see it every night. And I will say this, Paige, and to everybody just getting started on the baby steps, you find yourself in March of a new year. You're already exhausted. Like, you haven't been to a restaurant in 3 months and it's miserable. And now you're on spring break and you're not going anywhere. Like, I get it. You're right where you need to be. Don't go on this adventure beating yourself up. Like, you're only going to get so far if you're choosing to get out of debt because you hate your former self. Don't do that. Get out of debt because of who you're going to be on the other side of this thing and where you're going to go.
Yeah, it's not because you hate yourself. It's because you love yourself enough to see that version of you.
Go towards something. Don't run from something. I remember, he's just a sage, Sal DiStefano with the Mind Pump guys. Guys I just love. They're fitness guys. But I remember him telling me when I was just being honest about working out. And he said, hey, if you go to the gym every day because you think you look disgusting, if you go to the gym every day because this is what you get because you're 10 pounds overweight, you're always going to quit. You're always going to quit because your body can only take hating itself so long.
Not a great motivator long term.
But if he says, if you get up every day and you're like, dude, I get an hour, I'm worth an hour to where I can just go feel good. He said, you'll do that the rest of your life. And that was such a light bulb for me. I went to the gym because I didn't look like how I looked, not because it makes me a better husband and a dad. And when I made that switch, now it's something I look forward to. It's something I get to do, even when I don't want to, versus something I have to do because it's my punishment for the day for being unattractive, right? Same with your money. Right.
We got to update the operating system.
That's exactly right.
That's good.
We're going towards something, not just continually running with our head over our shoulder.
Yeah. That'll preach.
Well done, Paige.
We're cheering you on.
Blessings, man.
All right. Cole is in Cincinnati up next on the phone. What's going on, Cole?
Hey, so I had a question. So basically, I'm on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and I had a little bit, so I'm kind of curious. Once I put my 15% into retirement and after I, have my emergency fund and all that, what do I do with my extra savings money? Because I know I don't want to just have it in a savings account.
Do you have Venmo?
No.
Okay, you get it and send it to George _ I'm just kidding. Don't send him your extra money.
Wait, you said you're in baby steps 4, 5, 6, so those are done simultaneously. So once you have 15%, they're done in order, but at the same time. So 15%, boom, we got that going. Next up, do you have kids?
No, I'm only 20, so.
Oh, great. So you're going to leapfrog past 5. Do you have a mortgage?
Yeah, I just bought a house.
Awesome. What's left on the mortgage?
172.
Okay. So here's what you can do. Jump onto RamseySolutions.com and use our mortgage payoff calculator and set a goal of, hey, man, how cool would it be to have a paid for house in 4 years? And here's what it looks like. If we make an extra payment every month of $1,000 that we have, you said, left over, so however much that is that you want to allocate toward the mortgage, let's allocate that money every single month and have a goal to have that home paid off in a certain amount of time.
Yep, I'm already planning to have it paid off in 8 years. But outside of that, I still have money left over.
Great.
So,
and that can become extra on the mortgage. That could be, hey, you know what? I need sinking funds for a vacation. I'm going to put money away for an upgrade in a car 2 years from now. And so what I've done is just set up a bunch of sinking funds in my every dollar budget to where that money has a name. The most dangerous thing you can do is to not have every single dollar assigned to a job in your budget. And so assign it and sit down. You have a wife?
No. Girlfriend at the moment. She's technically renting from me, so.
Yikes. That's got to be awkward.
You need to call my show. We've talked about that.
Not renting. We're just not married, so I bought the house, and she's just giving me some for staying with me.
Bro, go down this weekend, and you'll get married.
How long you been dating?
About 3 years.
Okay.
What are you waiting on? Actually, you're 20. That's fine. I get it.
His prefrontal cortex has not developed
I
yet,
know,
John.
but he's got 5 years left on that prefrontal cortex.
We're just waiting for her to get out of school.
Okay.
Why? You're already living together. Just call it. Is she the one?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, take some of that extra money and go get a ring this weekend, and y'all go wrap it up.
And for now, it's Cole's money, and so we're going to have only goals for Cole, only Cole's budget. And so, again, I would set up sinking funds, probably looking at a ring, probably looking at cash flowing a wedding, maybe further education. Who knows? Just assign it to all of the places you want it to go. And if you don't have a place for it, I just start chunking it at the mortgage for now.
Okay, and then also, would it be able to put it? So after I get done with all that stuff, should I put it into like index funds or?
Yeah, once you're in baby step 7, once you get rid of that mortgage, you can increase investing beyond 15%, and you'll max out retirement first, and then move on to index funds and non-retirement accounts and all that good stuff. But you're a ways away. But keep dreaming, my man. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, you guys, I'm not a fan of the big banks, and you probably already know which ones I mean. But I do like credit unions because they're nonprofit organizations that focus on their members. And I'm proud to endorse Fair Winds Credit Union because they share the Ramsey mission of helping people get out of debt and live generously. In fact, they design products to help keep you from going into debt in the first place. Fair Winds has been in business for over 75 years, and they serve hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. You can feel secure because your deposits are federally insured by the NCUA up to $250,000. It's easy to join, and Fair Winds partners with more than 5,000 credit union locations around the country, so you can bank in person wherever you live. But if you prefer the online experience, you can log on to Fairwinds and do anything you could do at a physical location. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to learn more. And while you're there, look at the combined checking and savings account bundle they created just for Ramsey fans to help you take control of your finances. That's Fairwinds, FAIRWINDS.org/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Dr. John Delony. If you want to see Dr. John Delony and Dave Ramsey, they are headed out on the open road for the Money and Relationships Tour, and they're going to make this event a little different. You get to choose the content before the event, and they'll talk about things like raising great kids, handling money fights the right way, making real friends in the 21st century. And they're coming to a city near you, hopefully. Louisville, April 21st. Durham, April 23rd. Atlanta, April 25th. Phoenix on May 5th. Fort Worth, May 7th. Kansas City on May 9th. And these are some really cool venues and theaters you guys are hitting.
Yeah, it's amazing. Imagine if my show and The Ramsey Show had a kid, and then that kid was let loose on a stage. That's what this show will be. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
I'm scared for them. I hope they're not filming it.
If you ever wonder, like, did they edit stuff out? Yes, and this will be the unedited version.
You'll get to see it. Get your seats today. You can get tickets at RamseySolutions.com/tour. And if you're tuning in on YouTube or podcast, click the link in the show notes. Let's get to the phones. So Hybe joins us in West Haven, Connecticut. How can we help today?
Yes, hello. So I have found myself, like, in 14 months that I've been to, say, United States, I've been into this loop, and my income is, like, very low, and I can't seem to bring it any higher because I don't have any experience. I'm a server at a restaurant. Like, I make about $3,000 per month. So I was thinking, like, should I avoid rent and then buy, like, a SUV and I kind of live in it until I save up some money and get some skills, or is it a stupid idea?
Where are you living now?
West Haven, Connecticut.
No, where? Like, are you renting an apartment? Are you living with family, friends?
I'm renting an apartment. It's about like $650 per month. It's not much, but my income is also very low.
Okay. No, $650 sounds very reasonable.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, how are you having trouble keeping it together?
Did you take on debt?
I have like $4K for down payment. Then I was thinking about financing one, and then putting the rent on the finance the car, and that way I could go to school like easier and everything. But if I can buy a car and rent a room, but I won't be able to save a penny, and like I would be stuck in this situation for like very long. That's what I'm thinking.
Can I give you a pro tip for being a new immigrant to the States? And if you can avoid this thing, you will have such a wonderful life of opportunity. And it's this: don't fall for the American trap of debt. No country in the world makes it so easy and so attractive to take on payments like the U.S. And I'm scared that you're already getting starry-eyed going, ooh, could finance a car, and they're saying they can get the payment down to $300 a month, and so I might as well get a nicer, newer car. Do you have any debt currently?